Hi. November 29th, 2025. Okay, well, I'd be busy doing this sewing trip. and, yeah, just make a whole bunch of puzzle pieces and put them all together. And then, I believe, before all said and done, I'm going to have to, just run it through the washer. Because it's not getting dirty per se. Maybe I could just run it through the dryer and have it pull off all the strings and lint and stuff. Because I got strings on the floor and then they end up on my quilt. Anyway, I've had some brainstorms, and I believe I did that on my other video. So there are some good ideas. There are some marketable things. You just have to make them and make them economical enough that you can make something off of them. And then you have to have the market. You have to advertise. So that's the deal with anything I do. I'm going to need to figure out advertisement. And so I saw a video the other day, someone else's tutorial. I'm not doing a tutorial. Really, I'm sharing, because tutorials are a lot better than me. But what was it I was going to say? I got a song playing in my head because I was just watching Eureka, and they were doing Henry was trying to do something special for his wife, who, it's too long of a story. He went back in time, came back, and found that he had a wife. He didn't have that wife when he left. So he's now finally told her, because there were protocols. You couldn't tell him. You couldn't tell anybody if you went back in time and came back. Just can't. Okay, so he didn't for a long time. But anyway, he just told her, and then he's trying to woo her because he was falling in love with her while he was not telling her who he was. I mean, he was the same guy, but he had been back in time. And he had no memory, no recollection of their time together. When he left, he had just barely met her. But anyway, so the show that was just on, right before I was going to turn this on, Henry was trying to do something good for her. And he did a song with Blinded by Science or something like that. She blinded me with science. So it's not Blinded by Science. That's a different song. Do, do, do. Anyway, it was pretty cool. And I don't know what episode it is. I guess I could try to find out. All right, this one here is season 4, episode 8. So it would be season 4, episode 7. Towards the very end of the episode. But it was cool. It was cute. Blinded me with science. And they're all scientists, see. Do, do. I like the show, Eureka. It's a good show. Do, do. Okay, so SEW. Although we know that's not the one I'm using. Okay, I'm just trying to straighten it up some. This is the tail end of this row of me joining them together. I'm just trying to make it straight. It wants to not be straight. Just going to try to get these few projects done, and then I'm going to do something totally different. She blinded me with science. Da, 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 da. I decided this is going to be my lap blanket unless someone buys it. And I don't know what to charge. So I'll have to do some looking up to see. And then maybe instead of me charging, I can say, hey, best offer over such and such. All right, so where am I? What has happened here? Okay, that's where I are. Okay, so I did not lose my thread. My bobbin has still got thread. My big spool of thread is almost empty. So that will be my second 1,200 yard spool of thread, black thread. I just decided to just try to just be... Problem with that is all your seams show. I mean, your stitches show. However, all right, let's see. I've got a 4th row on. So this is the back. How does it look? Let's see. I can't see it. I'm just showing you guys. Okay, so I still have to bind the front because I just barely sewed them together. So there you go. See this flap right here is going to have to be bound, just like all this other stuff is. Anyway, so this is 4 by 5. And see, I've had it on my lap, and my lap was nice and toasty. I took it up and it got chimney down there. Anyway, I decided this is probably going to be mine. So the reason I said that, because I decided to go ahead and put my kitties. See? I have a block with my kitties. I think it's cool. And see, if I was just putting my touch on there, my touch is doing it too, but I like the kitties and I like the puppy dogs. And I might have to do one that has kitties and puppy dogs all over it, you know, because especially if you go and you seek after an older market, those older people love kitties and puppies and children. And then I need to find some material that's just specific dogs, you know, for the people who have different taste. German Shepherd would be really, really good, and I can see that being a big thing. But so are other dogs. Meaning, the Golden Retriever is an excellent dog. I don't know how, I mean, I've never had one. So I don't know. I'm going to slide that way over there. You know, I'd compare it to different dogs. You'd have to really know them and kind of be with them. Yeah, we shouldn't have had our dogs in the house. But we didn't know any better. And like usual, we were not prepared. Learn by doing. And that's not always a good thing. So I'm going to turn you around this way. All right, so I just hooked up. I made a row. Figured out what would look good out of what I had. What would look good in the row. And I added my kitties. And then I pinned it together And now I have to figure out, I've got to pin this. The self-binding, the picture frame of the, but it's that which holds it together. Standing in the rain. I just heard on probably another tutorial, somebody said get titanium rotary blades. And that's what I need. She said they stay sharp. It would be nice when you're trimming that it actually trims and that you don't have to. Use proper English. You don't have to struggle. When you make a cut, it cuts. But you don't want to cut yourself. I have done that. Do, 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 do. Hey, hey. You're so far away. Jimmy crack corn and I don't care. Yes, I do. One of the things they had for dinner on Thanksgiving was corn. Corn on the cob. And they brought some home, so that was good. Because I didn't have it, because I don't have teeth. I can't really be eating it on the cob. And yes, I know I need to take care of that. But when I was trying to use those teeth that I had to pull my teeth out in order to eat. It just wasn't comfortable. Okay. I need to figure out something good for me to eat. You get that sicky feeling and it's like, oh, I gotta do that. All those things I did in the beginning when I first started doing the quilt situation. I was gonna buy jelly rolls. What is that? I was gonna buy jelly rolls, which is fabric that's already been cut into 2.5 inches. And I've seen some that said 2.6, whatever, close to 2.5 inches, but they're all cut the same. And they are supposed to at least be 2.5 inches. They probably got great ways of cutting the material to where everything is exact. I've worked in factories before. They're pretty cool. How they can program those machines to do a lot of things. Do, 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 do. I know I'm annoying. I need to stop being annoying. I just don't know how. Kind of set in my ways. Just want to be, I don't know, I could improve. I know I could improve. But it's kind of late in the game. That thing about teaching old dogs new tricks. I lived alone most of my adult life. Then I did get married to Joe. And then I was not alone. But then there came a time when I was still alone. You know, because those phones, it opens up the world, doesn't it? And you forget. You forget about the world you're supposed to be taking care of. And then I was on the phone doing the same thing too. You can point fingers at me, but you know, when the other one's missing, then you go to the phone, right? So we're all on the phone. Learning. Not everybody is carousing and looking for that which they should not. But you know, even when you're not looking for it, there it is, right in your face. I'm appalled. I'm appalled at the things I see on Facebook. And that is permissible. That things have changed so much that people are walking around half naked. Not even half naked, almost all the way naked. And there it is on the screen. And we idolize these people, right? You want to talk about pornography? You know, that's a major, major problem, pornography. And those things that you think are just simple little things are not. It's not. It's not okay, people. And yeah, my wrist has given me a whole lot of trouble. I guess I've been moving this sidearm thing too much. The thing that makes the needle go up and down, and all around. And then the other day, you know, not the other day, but a while back, I hurt me because that first sewing machine jammed up. And I was trying to get it unjammed. I was trying to make that needle go up and down. And in the meantime, I strained all of this stuff. I don't know how to explain it. And it hasn't hurt all the time, but it's hurting today. Okay. It's because I'm moving my fingers. I'm moving all this stuff. Like this binding makes things nice as far as the fact that it's already done. But it's a lot of intricate work for your fingers. And so is quilting. But you know, it could be that I'm just going to have to enlist their help. First, I've got to make it through what I've got. And I don't have to... The things that are not totally... I mean, they're put together, but they're not sewn. I can take them apart. And then I have to... I'm thinking... I watched a tutorial today. And yes, I need to do what I've already got, but they were doing 7-inch squares. But they were also doing the diagonal thing. That's like my mug rugs, where you add material, different colors, this and that, or maybe a whole bunch of shades of the same color. And you've drawn a line, so you make these strips, you sew up to that line where you can trim at the line. And then you're going to add more material going in a different direction, strips. We're talking about adding strips. We are talking, I guess it's me that's talking. Like this. I showed it in an earlier video, but like different strips of material. And so for some are a lot thinner. Mine are kind of bigger. But I was making mug rugs. And it's my first attempt at all that. The material, adding the material. And I might have made it too thick. I don't know. We'll find out when I finally finish it. I decided... I mean, I was meandering, and I was going to go ahead and add more, but they're huge. I'm not going to add any more. It's 60 inches across which is 5 feet. And then it's 78 inches long. And that's just going to have to do. I don't want to add any more. And it looked like it might have just been overkill going too much more anyway. And like my daughter was saying, when she goes to bed, she's in a fetal position. You know, when you lay on your sides and you raise your knees. But anyway, so it's not like the blanket has to be totally the length of your body plus your head. So I'm thinking about these 6-foot men. But I just don't want to do any more on those quilts. One is 72 inches. So if I add another row on that one, it'll be 79 inches. Because those mug rugs that I turned into a quilt, they're 7 inches in diameter. Not diameter. They're 7 inches. Those strips that I just showed you, they're 7 inches long. Okay, well, my wrist, it's not just my wrist, it's the back of my hand. It's like saying, ain't no mountain high enough. I like the kitties there. And she's looking up. No, I bought material. You can buy this material at Walmart in a 1-yard piece, pre-cut 1-yard piece. Should be like $5.98. Sometimes you can get it for less, but shouldn't be more than that is the point. And one day I was looking and it was $11.98. I'm going, what? What? Are you kidding me? And the next day it was $5.98. So I don't know if there was a glitch or if they just try you to see if you'll just go ahead and pay for it. But I think there was a glitch. It was almost like it might have been a 2-pack, you know, to get to that price. It was double the cost. Da-dum, da-dum. So I need titanium blades. And I need steel needles and pins because they're strong. Turn this over. So when I go dipping down into this thick material, it's not going to destroy the pin when I'm trying to get back up. Okay, I'll come back here. Sorry. Well, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. It was nice. Ours was nice. And I did not cook a thing. And then one of my grandchildren said, Grandma can do it next year. I laugh at that, people. You want to have a good dinner? I don't think so. Grandma's not cooking it. However, this is the way I see it. And I told them this yesterday too, or, Thanksgiving. So we should get together once a month. Once a month. And it doesn't need to be just one person's thing. What you do, you have a potluck. So you decide what you're going to have for that meal, and you disperse the different things. And everybody contributes. And it's a potluck. Doesn't have to be all fancy. And it does, so that way it's not costing one person a lot either. I don't know how these people do their things, but I know that having people over for dinner can be costly. But I just think potlucks are nice. Then everybody brings something, whether they're bringing the rolls and the butter or whatever. Not everybody wants salad. I can't have salad, really. But it depends. Like coleslaw. If it is fine, ooh, I love coleslaw. And cabbage is good for you. It's one of those cancer-fighting foods. Do 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 do. Hey, hey, you're so far away. Well, I can see that even though this is going to be small, it's fixing to be large. Does that make sense? You know, as you add layers, and they're not layers, what are they? Rows. We'll just call them rows. And that's another thing that's happened. I've been stabbed 1,000,000 times. It seems like 1,000,000 times by these little pins. It's like, ow, ow. And no, it's not something where you can just say, oh, you would think you'd learn. You would think. That's another thing, too. You would think I would learn. Down in the basement, the ceiling's too low. So when you're over there by the washer and dryer, I smack my head. It's an open ceiling, and then there's pipes hanging down lower than the ceiling. And the ceiling is low to begin with. So over by the washer and dryer, I need to remember, and I try, keep my head down. It's almost like it's going to shave my hair off. And I certainly don't need that. Dude, ouch. Dude. Yep. So in this particular configuration, like I've been doing these quilts where you join them with this binding. What was I going to say about that? Well, I think it's getting to my tendons or whatever those things are in the back of my hand. So I need to quit it. And I know I was saying as it gets bigger, it's going to be difficult. But that's what I was saying, was not just that. It's much easier if you do the binding as you go. So you don't wait until you've already connected, like I did. I connected, I think I had 4 rows, maybe it was 3, but it could have been 4. That, let's pull that out. What am I trying to say? Oh, I'm tired. Time does get away from me. Help! I need somebody. Help! Not just anybody. Help! Ooh. When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way. But now those days are gone and I'm not so self-assured. You know, I changed my mind. Opened up the door. Help me if you can, I'm feeling down. And I do appreciate you being round. Won't you help me get my feet up off the ground? Is that right? Won't you please, please help me, help me, help me, ooh. Well, that's those Beatles people, which I like. Okay, so I put the pins facing the direction that I'm going to come sewing, so that I can pull those pins out. I can go further as I'm sewing. I can go further, and then I can pull those pins out. Otherwise, if they're pinned and the ball is going in first, I cannot get the pin out. And you can't sew very far while you're trying to get that pin to come out. It's awkward. So when you are sewing these rows and you do them little by little, like I'm just doing, this is the 4th row. I've got it pinned, both rows pinned in the same direction, and that's the direction I'm going to start with. And then that will be bound. But oh my, when you add a whole bunch of rows and then you've got to bind them all, and you've got a bunch of material. So with it this way, if I do it correctly, which I am going to do, I'm going to have, I added just this little piece right here, okay? So I'm going to sew with just this part under my sewing machine. So it'll make a big difference. Now, what am I going to do? You're over there. Pull the sewing machine over here. Okay, so I'm not sure. We'll just kind of play it by ear because it's kind of big. So what can I do? You won't be able to really see the sewing machine if I put you up there. But let me see. Do, 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 do. If I adjust it, it's going to fall off. I wonder if I put you in front over here. Face that. And really, I don't have to do it right now, but that's so cool. And it would look good with just 2 colors. You know, like if you really like royal blue and black, you could just put royal blue and black. Okay. Yes, Christmas is coming soon. Ow! So that song started playing in my head. Jolly old St. Nicholas, lean your ear this way. Don't you tell a single soul what I'm going to say. Christmas Eve is coming soon. Now, you dear old man, whisper what you'll bring to me. Tell me if you can. See, I wouldn't know these songs if I tried. Is it Johnny wants a pair of skates? Susie wants a dolly. Somebody wants something. He either thinks toys are folly. I don't know. Anyway, I'm liking this. I don't know how it's going to turn out. And really, I need to find a normal recliner. Somebody measure a recliner on the inside, the side to side. Not a double recliner, although that could be nice. But see, that's what I've got. I've got a recliner in here, but it's a double. So 2 people can sit in it, or a very large person. And see, just trying to pull these pins out too could be causing my tendons to all have a problem here. Da, 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 da. Yeah, because it looks to me like, see, that's 2 feet. If I just bound it right now, that's 2 feet wide. I just need to figure out 2 feet wide and how feet long. But I don't think 2 feet is enough. 30 inches. See, 2 feet is 24 inches. So if I add one more row, what have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the 30 inches right there. So I just need to add down from the 30 inches. But yeah, could get some good ideas. I don't know. I must have left them down there. I took grits downstairs, I think, yesterday. I was going to make me some grits, and then I ended up doing something else. I probably saw something in the fridge, in the leftover department. And really, one of my favorite things is mashed potatoes, but they're not good for a diabetic. But when I was on my little farm, I would use cream of chicken soup, heat up a can of cream of chicken soup, and use that for my gravy. I'd make mashed potatoes. And I had those dehydrated potatoes that the church used to sell. Instant potatoes, and they would call potato pearls or something like that. I'm not sure if I can remember. It was so simple. So if you had a cup of water, you'd put probably, I'm not sure. I want to say a half a cup. Half of whatever the water is that you put in, you put the potatoes. And they just grow. So you want to get your water hot first. And then you add the potatoes, just so easy. Yeah, it'd be nice to have a helper. Someone who can drive across country with me. Keep me awake. Oh, I have to pull this out. I can't do that. Okay. That hurts. Okay, I'm going to be running out of thread here before long. I've got to get some thread ordered. I don't seem to have it in the store when I'm there. All right, so I'm still turning it around and going back to where I started because that puts the smaller piece of material under the arm of the machine. Whereas if I tried to do it the way I was going to do it, I was going to turn it around and just head down the other end. Well, I already knew that I was going to do that, so I put the pins in the right direction. So I would have known immediately that wasn't cool. But it makes it a lot easier. If you have the heavy stuff on the outside and you only have, like one or two, a little bit going underneath the arm, getting in the way. I'm gonna have to thread some bobbins. Wind some bobbins, whatever. Okay. Got this string attached to my little pair of scissors here. Da-dum, da-dum. Yes, haven't listened to my songs. They could be a good thing or they could be a bad thing. Because they're romantic songs. And they're sweet when you're in love. Still pretty. Haven't done it yet, and I guess really with Black Friday, I should have been checking that out. But I know they have Cyber Monday. They carry it on for quite a while. Getting better all the time. Used to be angry young man. Be hiding my head in the sand. That's the Beatles too. And that is a train. And it is really cool. I haven't investigated, but there is a train that comes right through here. Not very far away, really. If my legs were strong enough, and they might. They're stronger than they were. And what happened was they put me on a medication that gave you weak legs. I mean, when I told the doctor finally that I had weak legs, she immediately got me off of one of the blood pressure medicines that I was on. And she said the side effect was weak legs. And I'm going, well, that would have been nice to know. Yeah, so I'm supposed to read all that paper. Why would they do that? Why would they give you that? I know, because it doesn't affect everybody the same. But I mean, I was doing good. I was walking good. And all of a sudden, I couldn't go very far at all. It's like, what the heck, man? It was really scary. I have found that I'm doing much, much better with my legs not being quite as weak. They were bad. I couldn't go far at all. I felt like I was going to have to sit down. And there would be nowhere to sit. So I am doing better as far as that goes. Thank goodness. Yeah, I almost feel like on some of these I need to zigzag. Come back and do a zigzag. Do, 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 do. I don't know how to sew on that, I don't know how to call it, fancy material. I'm talking about stretchy material. And like I saw some skirts the other day. Amazon had some skirts, but I didn't find them when I went looking. But it was a girl on the front swishing her skirt. And it was made of rayon. So I'm not sure what that is. And isn't that synthetic or something? But that is what it was flowing nice. So I don't know if the cotton will flow that nice. She wore, my doctor, I'm talking about my doctor, she wore a dress one day that was just so gorgeous. Because it was like what I wanted, okay? It was to the floor. It had a waist, like she probably had a belt around her waist. But it was a dress. It wasn't just a skirt and a blouse. It was a dress. And it just flowed so nice. Swishy. and not clingy, but clingy. In other words, it wasn't out, ruffled out, adding a lot of weight to your body. But then this, I talked about it before when I saw the day that I saw her in that dress, because it was just gorgeous. I'm going, man, I want your dress. You know, but it wouldn't have, like, she's shorter and petite and pretty. I'm just describing her. But that dress just looked marvelous on her. It's like, man, you know, so that was a coveting moment. Because I do like that type of dress. So she had long sleeves. She had a modest neckline. It was stretch. So like it had sewing across where it was gathered up, so it fit. You know what I mean? If you were larger, it expanded with you. And if you were smaller, it constricted. So it fit you. And that's an important thing. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. There are these fibers. And I can't tell what the heck they are. It's kind of like, you'd almost think they were dog hair, and that would be a possibility, but then I don't know what they are, because they don't really seem like the dog hair. Okay, I made it to the end, people. So I have bound both sides of that last row that I added. Da-da-da-da. Okay, over here. Well, I think that's wonderful. Maybe I should just do a 5x5. So it's 5 across. I add one more row, I'll have a square 5x5. And then maybe I'll add a couple more rows to make it go down to the feet for someone who's in a recliner. I don't know. It's a thought though, isn't it? It is a thought. I guess I should look at my watch. Okay, I've got a while. Well, I got to figure out another row now. And I'm not sure what up. Let's see, this is the bottom. Because where's my kitty kitties? Kitty kitties? See my kitty kitties? So I need something to maybe, and they're looking up at me. Okay, so a brown on the end. I have some that are sewn and some that are not quite ready yet. But here is a brown. It's black, but it is a brown on the end. But then it's red. Let's see. Da-dum, da-dum. I have to figure this out. See, and it's doing 5 blocks, or yeah, 5 squares. I've got to find a single square that I haven't put together with something else. These blocks are sewn. So let me just see. Let me just see what's going on. Tell me what's going on. Okay. I really don't know what's going on. I could add some more kitties and puppy dogs. Puppy dogs are cuter. I mean, these are. And I've got another one here with the German Shepherd. So that's a blue one and a red one. So I've got a brown and a red. That will go good there. And then I need one of these. Which one should I do? Okay, you can see more of the German Shepherd with the blue. So we'll do that one. I don't know that I should put it right over the top of the other ones. Okay, this is, that's a print. Can't do that. It's got to go there. And I've already got, so it can't go there. And I don't want to put kitties on top of kitties. So, that lets that out. I don't see any other singles that I have. Well, let me see. There. There. Can't do that. I have to have a solid. Da 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 da. I'm hot. Ow. Gotta be able to get out of your clothes quick. When you open up that door, it cools off. But then they're down there and I bother them. In other words, my noise. If my TV's on, they can hear it. Point is, you shut the door and then it's okay. What can I do here? I'm just going to have to skip a row and not put a puppy. No puppies. But see, yeah, I got to get this quilt off of me probably. It might be easier to figure out what I'm doing if I go in another room. Oh, it's hot. Since these are all different, that would go good there. Okay. That'll go. So now I need a solid that'll go there. Problem is I don't have one. Oh, yes I do. Yes, oh I do. Okay, where was I? There. That'll go. So now let's see. That'll look okay. So now what I've got to do is pick these up and sew them together. That was a good thing. I found a solid single. And what I'm saying really is that, oh, I'm doing that wrong. I better figure that out. My goodness. Okay. Doggone it. Now which way did it go? I think that's how it went. I don't know how it went. That goes good there. I don't remember that there. I want the brown one there. Is there a brown one? There it is. Okay. So we put the brown one there. And what's over here? That was a blue one. Oh, I like the blue. All right, we're going to put the blue there. And then, what can I put on this end? I need something that goes with red and something that goes with that. And that would be this. All right, that's a lot of black. That's a double. This goes to my other bed. Never mind. I mean, if I decided to add more to it, because it's, the backing's the same on both sides, is what I'm trying to say. That would look good there. Maybe I'll just do it anyway. Right? Okay. These two are going to go together. And what it is you put the backs together, not the fronts. I had the fronts. Okay. I gotta go potty. I know, I could go ahead and add that other to it. You want it to lay straight. So it's not laying straight. Ow. Okay, now it is. Okay, so this is going to be sewn together. I have to move that. I know. Just sitting here making a boring video, right? Ah. Okay. I got this quilt in my lap. I think that's what made me hot. All of a sudden I had to take off my clothes. Okay. That's one of the tricks about menopause. That's one of the things they say. Dressed in layers. Dress in layers so that, you know, you never know. It could, any given time, you could, like, be so hot. And water pouring out of every pore is a thing. Just like the blood for Jesus. Okay, I'm going to get ready here. All right. Okay, let me see. Let me see something. Okay. Now I gotta see, where was this? I think it was like that. I'm pretty sure. And then this is gonna attach to that. So I'll get these attached, and then I'll have to bind the little pieces. When I say little pieces, I mean the squares, you know. It's little compared to going across the whole thing. Okay. Now, I'm going to need to sew that together. I'll just go ahead and do it. And I don't know about my quilt, because I'm going to go potty. Let's go ahead and connect this last thing here. Okay, I've got quite a while. Okay, so I have this row connected on the back. Looks like that. So I need to connect that. So before I get all confused, that's not the way. It's this way. Okay. Yep.
Jessica said, I put that dress on your bed.
Okay. Let's see. Well, I gave my daughter a dress a long time ago, and she's never worn it. So I thought, well, I ought to try that on. I didn't buy me one. I bought my daughter one. I bought Carly one. It was a long time ago. But I just had I'd seen the dress. I thought it was pretty, so I had a wild hair. That was one of those wild hairs. I'll just buy my daughter a dress. Oh, so I'm pinning it and I'm not done. I can't do that. Okay, I'm getting the cart before the horse. In other words, I've got to bind these before I can add them. But I won't lose myself because you have to do it a certain way. In other words, I want the colors to go a certain way. And they don't work the other way. So in the meantime, I'll just go ahead and pin these down for me to sew. I know, I said I have to go potty. And I do. And actually, I'm getting pretty hungry too. All right, I'm just gonna, you probably can't see. Yeah, you can't see. Doesn't matter. Just doing that binding thing. So the seam gives you about 1 inch. Because that's how I cut it, was 1 inch all the way around. So what you do is you fold it in till it meets. And you know what, sometimes if it's not going to look good, you might need to let a little bit of that out. Because sometimes you might not get your seam just right. You need to have enough room to turn it over and be able to sew on it and sew onto the square so they become one. Yeah, I thought I was becoming one. But nope, nope, nope. People don't know what the hell they're talking about. You just say what you want to hear. All right. So I took 2 twofers and a single and I put them together. So now I only have to bind 2 different things because the 2 twofers were already bound. Meaning I put 6-inch squares together and did all the binding and everything before I ever started putting these rows together. I've been doing that since this morning. I was trying to get some stuff together to where you can just get together and sit down and put things together because you've got all the components. But as I'm learning, I will know a little bit better about what I want to do with material. Anyway, it has turned out really well. So I definitely cannot complain. Okay. Anyway, I just would like to dress up and see what I look like. I need to find some shoes and some nylons. Take some pictures, but I have to have someone else take them. It's not so easy to take them of yourself. Okay, so I've got these pent. And I could, what time is it? I got a while, right? Yes, I do. Okay, I'm going to pause this thing. And I'll come back and keep talking.